Hello and welcome to Sunflower's Sutras, where I said the thing wrong again.
Are we doing a Sutras in this? Not
No.
too high to be. I mean, drunk to be This is a Slouchtras.
This is a Slouchtras, yes. We're slouching. See how I'm slouching? Hello and welcome. I'm your host, A.M. Hounshell. This is your other host.
I think I'm just sitting bisexually, really.
Sitting bisexually, really. And we're going to talk to you about Technomancer and the Sword, a book written by some sort of numbskull.
I think some sort of genius numbskull, because I really enjoyed this book.
What did you enjoy about it?
Okay, so I know I've already told you, but this is the first time I've ever read a very large quotation marks with a lot of legal space dividers. Choose your own adventure.
Ask!
But yes, this is the first time I've ever read a book like that. Because as a horribly pretentious child, I thought that Choose Your Own Adventure books were too tacky and too simple, like predictable. And so I decided that as a 12-year-old, I was above them.
Why not?
So I never read these books. And you have talked to such great lengths about how much you genuinely love the genre. We've talked about it in previous episodes. And I took your word for it.
Yeah.
And your book is an absolute delight to read. And I'm having a lot of fun with this style that I'm totally new to.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's actually... I really like that I was able to finish it. That's all I had to say. Because it's a lot more work than it really has any right to be.
Are we going to talk about your map?
I don't think it's in there.
No, it's not in here, but It was in your wallet for, what, a year?
It had to be, because I had to remember... So when I was at the grocery store, I had to be able to pull the map so I knew where I hadn't written anything yet. Because the problem is that if you finish off a path and you come back, sometimes you forget, hey, this already had an ending. This has been concluded. And so you're writing two endings to whether or not you're going to say yes to the Technomancer or not.
So what I saw of your plot map was this kind of family lineage tree kind of branching out thing to keep your plots in check.
Do I live in a zoo?
It's not that you have too many animals. It's that you have too diverse of animals.
Hard pause. I'm going to grab a map. So how this is working is that there's an original other side. So it's been photocopied so that it's on one piece of paper, but it's double-sided, so the map is actually on both. It's two pieces of paper put back to back, but the map is on both sides so that I could color coordinate it. That makes sense.
How long were you working on this again?
3 years. Did I say tree?
You said tree.
3 years. So for a grand total of technically 76 endings.
Okay.
And then the longest path I thought was highlighted, but maybe not on this version. The longest path is, I think, 9. Might be on the other side. Longest one is 11. Shortest is 2. So the fastest you can end the story is 2 choices.
Is this how other people in the field go about starting theirs as well?
I actually have no idea. Most people I saw were mostly invested in Twine. Is that what it's called? Twine? Mm-hmm. We're invested in Twine. I have a Twine of the map too, and it is easier to maintain and manage because you can see it all.
Is Twine in reference to like twining between thumbtacks?
It's software.
Oh, but it might be in reference to that, I guess.
Grandma had a question not related to your computers, okay?
The only thing I'm kind of disappointed with, and sure this is my first foray into that genre, this genre, is that there's there's no ending tied to a different choice. So one of like the hallmarks that I can remember of Choose Your Own Adventure books from the past, especially Montgomery's run, is that some choices lead to the same outcome. Whereas here I seem to have opted for every single choice has an individual ending. Like path. Every path has a different ending. Even if in one case it's just a one word swap. Under the Ocean, Choose Your Own Adventure book, like that book itself, by R.A. Montgomery. Is that right? Yeah. That one has options where you'll choose to do something and it'll have the same conclusion as a different choice. Well, I have not done that here, and I should have. I might have made my life a little bit easier. There's also instances in that series, in that run, where you circle back. So, like, you'd get to time reversal, say, here, and you'd circle back to up here somewhere.
Okay.
So some things are circular and come back around. So you have different ways to get to the same ending and same options.
More interjecting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just about to make a very cheap, tawdry joke at your expense.
Thank you.
I think I understand now why you give such a crap about Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, a Choose Your Own Adventure tale. I kind of wish they would sue me, but it is the thing I'm most proud of. So, like, I don't want that tied up in a lawsuit.
Not because it is your most recently published work, but this is definitely your best work to date.
It's definitely that one or Zumanity, I guess, maybe.
Obviously, this one's a bit more fun than Zumanity.
Sure.
And so it's going to be a little bit easier to read than...
Yeah.
Especially certain parts of Zumanity.
But when broken down, that's really just 75 3 to 11 page like short stories.
Yeah, and for some reason I was not expecting that. Going into this, I guess I hadn't put much thought into what this was going to be like, you know.
Yeah.
Dead dove do not eat, I guess. I wasn't expecting it to be so just like this kind of stuff. Like, I was like, this is adorable, the whole your choices, and then you think about it for a little bit, tap your thumb on the page and say fuck it and go to the next page. How much does that incorporate in the writing of the passages? Because there's certain things where you kind of need that page turn, so you need... Sure. Is that a thing that you've encountered?
Yeah, but I didn't do any of the formatting. That was all Edward Van Winkle. Thanks, bud.
Okay, talk a little bit about Van Winkle.
So, Edward is a friend of mine from Twitter, notorious for our bad book idea duels. It's his fault that I had to write an Ice Road Through Hell, formerly known as Milk and Cookie. And he formatted that. And since he sometimes gets to like this stall with his writing, but he really loves formatting, and there's nothing quite as complicated than formatting a book like this.
Yes.
Unless there were pictures.
Yes.
In which he told me if I wanted pictures, we'd have to scrap all of the formatting.
Oh, God.
And he was like, and that'll probably take a long, long time. Do you want that? And I was like... So in total, from what I can remember, someone edited it, someone did the cover, Edward redid some aspects of the cover, did the formatting. I wrote all of it, obviously. So there were 4 people, including me, that I met on Twitter that touched that. So it was truly something that felt like, I don't know, like an actual publishing house did some work there. I mean, I paid for some of it, right? So, like, there's more than just my hands on it, and it makes me feel really proud to know that the synergy of 4 different people coming together really made this cohesive.
You also lucked out with your artist.
Yeah, she was really good.
She's really on page with what you're wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole thing looks like really, really good. I could definitely see people not immediately thinking self-published.
Yeah.
Because that's such a dirty fucking word.
It's circling around the internet again.
Oh no, is it?
Yeah. It's like those who can't self-publish.
Jesus self-published.
It's a thing that comes around every couple of years.
Yeah. Months.
Yeah, true. More like months.
How quickly is the trend cycle on Twitter for recycling old shit?
Months.
Sometimes 24 hours. Depends on how you look at it, I guess.
Oh my god.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. And then every single day it seems like there will be a celebrity birthday, like Betty White. And Betty White will be trending, but Twitter's too lazy to be like, it's Betty White's birthday. So you have to click the, like, trending thing. And it's like, Betty White turned 100. And it's like, I thought she fucking died. And then just at the top, I thought she fucking died will be trending too. Oh, well, you could probably guess what's towards the top of trending.
Grimes!
Yeah, number 2.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Hey,
girl.
How you doing? I love kids. They have music.
Teen Wolf is also
I love spaghetti. I love cold spaghetti. I heard you ate that for a year.
Oh,
you know what
we did
else
that
you can
thing.
eat for a year?
So I assume you have some questions regarding the book.
Yeah, on the whole teamwork thing,
Sure.
I do have some questions because, funny enough, though I have no experience previously reading a book of this type,
Sure.
I do love
They're
me
usually shorter.
Yeah, they
Much.
are. I do love me some manga, and
Okay.
I have come to understand the artisanship of the page turn kind of appeal, where it's like a Junji Ito type thing, where you have this big old tension thing building, and then the page flip is like, ew, this beautiful illustration type thing.
Sure.
Obviously, there's no illustrations here, but like your formatting with having these, you have important narrative plot things where it's like the page turn ability is very important for keeping the immersion in the book. How much of that was you?
That's actually something that Edward and I both worked together on.
And how did you two?
We basically ended with creating a graphic that could take up any amount of the space on the page.
Okay.
So that's what the circuitry is all about. That's why some of the pages just say game over and are the circuitry, so that you have to turn the page.
Mm.
There is... I shouldn't say this because like I pointed it out to him and he was like, no one will ever know. There is one set of choices that they're both on the same page and they're both a game over. And so like you'll be there and it's the same option, right? Go to page 91, go to page 92, and 91 and 92 are next to each other and they're both game over. And I was like, I feel a little like this should be changed. And he was like, yeah, no one will ever notice. And probably he's right. But now I'm putting a hat on it. So now everyone will notice. But now I can't be called out on it. See? Now in 30 years, they're like, well, did you notice on page 91 and 92? I'm like,
Well,
yeah, remember that podcast?
Cite your sources. That podcast said that it was all intentional. He's a literary genius.
Did I say it was intentional? I guess I said I didn't change it. I was also kind of disappointed about this one.
Unover. I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, wow.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I can't wear these anymore. Defiled.
It was something that, like, when we were looking at it, I was thinking, oh, there you go. Although this one's a little different.
Yeah.
But stuff like that. But I was worried that the sections were too short, but I kind of sacrificed having a book that had, like, 3, 4, 5 pages per section and illustrations for having something that's a little more punchy.
Yes.
But with shorter sections.
See, that kind of leads me to my next question is, I don't know the culture of this genre.
That's been nearly dead for 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
With your path choices, how much was it on your mind for deciding whether or not your go to page duh was too obvious a leading? Like, were you ever afraid that you were basically kind of guiding to certain paths for your readers where it's like, this path is really alluring, compare it to this one. Like, were you ever was that ever on your mind at all?
So, this is actually going to be kind of funny. I think we talked about this in a different podcast episode. Or, yeah, a different video.
Well, you know what? It's not real time in my memory. So.
Well, true. But in that same Choose Your Own Adventure book that I was talking about, the deep sea one, you get an option...
Shark!
No, that's a different one. But you Are a Shark is my favorite.
I don't care about this book anymore that he's talking about, but go on.
You are being followed by a giant squid, and you're on a platform. You have the option to rev the platform as like fast as it can go, but you're going to absolutely get the bends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you either do that, or you like try to harpoon the giant squid. And like what at first seems like a very simple choice of you probably hit the squid with the harpoon and it'll fall back. It turns out that you're a fucking experienced diver, you can just get in a pressure tank. So the choice was to do the thing that seems bad.
Oh.
Yeah. That being said, I kind of wanted to capture that same kind of spirit too, where it's like, this seems like the wrong option.
Well, my first read through of the book, I told you, because I was reading it at work during down period, and I had to tell you because I knew you'd be excited, because I knew from our previous discussion that this was your favorite.
Yeah.
That my first read through, I got cookie dough.
Yeah, cookie dough and saltines, yes. A choice that determines whether or not you fight with crackers or dough. Which I'm very proud of, because I actually like that section a whole lot.
It definitely, the choices did not necessarily lead to what I thought they were going to lead to, for sure, for that.
Yeah.
There's such a feeling of kind of playing a video game with reading this kind of a book style. And obviously in this particular thing, it's about an arcade game. And so there's a lot of play back and forth between video game, the specific like cultural things of arcade games in particular, and that being played into your kind of choices. Like, you can almost kind of imagine in your brain a little sword kind of like beep, 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 just like deciding which one you want to pick. It's not that hard to kind of fall into that. But then that made me think about how back when we were all teenagers, how one of the biggest AAA game crazes was the whole your ethical choices determine your ending. And wow. I kind of think it's cute that this kind of genre kind of like really plays into a video game kind of mentality, because it's a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
It is a game, and you don't I didn't quite comprehend the extent of how much reading a book like this really is a game until I finally did it. And now I'm just thinking about how adorable it is that when video games tried to emulate books, that most of that was garbage.
When do you think text-based adventures came out? Like the really simple ones that were just like, pick up, bucket.
I think Zork came out in the early 80s.
Turns out, actually, that they, like, the original text-based adventures and, like, the Choose Your Own Adventure books are kind of around the same time frame, around the early 80s, late 70s. But, while we were talking, I had a thought about something I wanted to tell you about. The absolute worst part about writing it is trying to make the different options for choices different.
In what regard?
How they're worded, what they are. Like, one of the hardest things to do is to make sure you don't write too many negative endings. You don't write, do this thing too many times. Because unfortunately, if you do that, you have to keep it fresh.
Yes.
So you can't,
So it's 76, 77?
75 plus.
75 plus endings. How does one do that?
Having the map. Look at this. I'm telling you.
Do you actually remember how to say map in Spanish? Because I don't.
It actually, I think, is just La Mappa.
La Mappa? Okay, because Dora never says La Mappa.
Oh, actually, there's a little bit of a trick to this, and I don't know if you noticed, and I don't know if anyone will notice, because it's kind of well hidden. The two options, don't press the button and press the button, lead to two core differences in, like, world. One, don't press the button, ends up with you having to deal with the, like, real world. Almost exclusively real world consequences.
Yes.
Press the button is all in the game. So, as long as I keep them separated, I have two different kinds of worlds to work with.
And yet, at least with this particular book,
Sure.
your options, like, I did a couple of times, the don't press the button thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how the video game world always finds its way back eventually.
It's looking for you.
And sometimes after presumed decades, it finds its way back for you. And that was very funny. It was very villain character reaching out to grab you when you least expect it. End of Friday the 13th. Just oh fuck, okay. I thought I was a sous chef now. I guess I'm going back in the arcade game.
I think one of my favorite paths is continuing to ignore the call to action for the story, and then you just die of old age. Yeah. It's just yeah, man, the story ended. You died. Congratulations, you're a normal person. You did it. And so, taking that same thing into account, writing the sequel, Necromancer and the Ray Gun, I've separated it into kind of sheriff, because he's a cowboy, and kind of, and bandit, so that I have two different paths to follow. It is also canonical to the final ending of Technomancer and the Sword.
Does that map for the sequel expound upon your current map?
It can't.
It can't.
It can't. I can't tell you why, but it cannot.
Is the new map going to be reliant on your old map?
The old map is old ways. I would like to have dotted lines that go backwards and forever loops and crazy nonsense. But we'll just see. It's kind of a process. And then putting it all together is a different process altogether. Originally, I can't remember if it was you or Rain or Edward. Someone said, just write them down on Post-it notes and just move them into order. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't. It's too much work.
You don't want to be Charlie Day over at your board, just...
Do you mean Luigi?
I saw that too.
It's bad casting all around.
I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to talk about it, okay? If you don't talk about it, if you just stop...
Okay, but
stop thinking about the tumors and the lesions and the blood in your urine, it'll go away. Anywho, tell us a little bit more about the sequel. Is it a character that...
It's the Necromancer.
It's the Necromancer.
The Necromancer from Technomancer and the Sword.
Okay.
The plan is to write...
Are you going to have a book for every...
Yes, all 7 of them.
All of the Mancers.
Technomancer, Necromancer, Pyromancer.
Destructomancer going to have a book. It's going to be 3 pages.
It can be an interpretive dance.
It's an interpretive dance. No, excluding that
you
one.
Break things.
It's going to be the 7 that were at the cabin. So, Necromancer, Technomancer, Pyromancer, Aquamancer, Chronomancer, the 2 others.
Captain Planet and Jubilee.
No Jubilee. Sorry.
I like
No. No.
Are you going to be hopefully working with the same team of people for the next books?
I worry that the person who did the cover will become too successful for me to afford. And I worry that Edward doesn't want the headache of formatting a Choose Your Own Adventure book that's wilder somehow.
I'll give you some advice right now that I wouldn't give to anyone else. This is an insider secret. Okay. Go to Fiverr. Get a very low res quality JPEG of this cover. Go to Fiverr. Go to your 3-star review illustrators, because any higher, they're too needy. They ask for too much. And you send them that low res JPEG of this cover, and you're like, can you make this but less sword, more ray gun, maybe red.
God damn it. He's a sheriff necromancer.
And you just
he shoots and then asks questions.
You just do that for all. Here's the thing. This is the thing they don't want to teach you at how to get published school, or the School of Good Publish, is that you have to actually put a lot of effort into your first thing, but everything after that, just get a low res JPEG, and just as long as you have a good foundation, you just cheat your way through the rest.
Before we end, I actually want to tell you the wild idea I had for that actual book there. Instead of that, originally how I wanted to write my Choose Your Own Adventure was every single one of the 6 core genres.
What are they?
Romance, mystery, western. Mystery is also suspense, science fiction, fantasy, and the other one. What's that last one?
Cooking.
No.
Cooking Mama.
Horror?
Horror, yeah. Thanks. I knew it was 6. That's all of them.
Western?
Yeah, western's a whole genre.
Oh, cowboys. Okay.
Yeah, like the next one is cowboys. Like this one was fantasy.
Because of sorrow. Oh, no, it's fantasy because the guy was really happy with his life and content, even though it seemed to be going nowhere, but he just was like a happy dude at the beginning. That's why it's fantasy?
I don't think it ever says he's a dude.
I mean dude in a non-binary way. A gender-neutral way.
You said his.
I mean his in a non-binary way. A gender-neutral way.
Okay. JK, right? Haha.
The fact that this guy just grows up from this, like, mediocre
It's funny because it's also just kidding.
I got it.
This mediocre, mundane, nothing happening life, and he seems to be pretty friggin' happy and content. You're really good at writing fantasy. I bought it.
I know. I'm just going to tear out the thing I wrote on it.
Oh.
It says, Tara, the best gremlin. We got nothing accomplished. Thank you.
His heart grew 3 sizes that day.
That's how you die. That's a death.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what the third one will be. I really don't know how. I know they exist because I've read a million pretty things.
This is already blue.
No, that's not.
Do your Aquaman one, and you can get Aquaman on the cover. But a low-res JPEG, because then they can't sue you.
They still can. They still will.
Be low-res enough that the law can't
I cannot
touch
asylum film books.
Just 3 pixels.
Why can't you asylum? Oh God, I want asylum to go after us. You evil bastard.
Okay, I'm imagining like a long green rectangle, a kind of taller orange rectangle, and a yellow square.
I'm so sorry. You were
3
saying something.
pixels.
You were saying something before. I just stupided all over it.
That's the whole thing. That's it's the couch, and then it's us, and that's all of it.
This isn't my couch.
This isn't a couch at all. There's a love seat, and the other one's a futon. Wait, this is all lies! It's sunflower flauntons and sunflower slove sleets.
I don't know what
Slove
I don't know what a
sleets.
slove sleet is, but can we not say that in this house anymore? There's children.
Not down here, there isn't.
That's like the dirtiest sounding thing you've ever said that isn't dirty at all.
Slove sleets. It does sound.
It sounds
Sounds
organic,
bad.
and I don't like it.
It sounds like something that gave us a rash. Collectively, somehow. Anyway, I was saying, I wonder which one of the Mancers will end up with the romance genre. Because I implied that I was still going to do my dumb 6 things with my 6 Mancers. I basically told you I didn't give up on my plan. I just separated it into 6 books.
I just want you to know But when you said Mancers, I really thought you were talking about the Spike TV show Mancers. Can a boob make a fart? I thought that's what you were talking about. And I was like, I'm so sorry that my brain went
You
there.
already said the word.
I know I did. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Look right here.
Yeah, it says 7.
Kill you.
It's not my fault you chose the bad font.
I don't think it's a bad font.
It's not
It looks like a 1.
I think it looks like a 1.
I think it looks like 1, certainly.
This has been Sunflower's Slouchtras. You hurt me. I thought this would go well, but instead I didn't get to carry a sword at all. I want the third one to be called Aquamancer and the Live Wolves.
A low-res picture of Jason Momoa.
Who's Jason Momoa? I want to do the like Harry Potter naming convention where it's like blank and the blank blank, except just get more ridiculous. It's gonna be Technomancer and the sword. Sounds normal.
Mm-hmm.
Necromancer and the ray gun. Aquamancer and the completely hungry live wolves. Chronomancer and the school that doesn't know how to spell artichoke.
And
like really further out there.
Chronomancer and the tax-deductible purchase from Starbucks.
Yeah.
By 6, it's just a Panic at the Disco album.
Yeah. It's a Destructomancer and the This Is a Panic at the Disco album reference that you're gonna get because I pointed it out to you. Part 3. It's gonna be really tiny font. It's gonna be all down at the bottom. It's all gonna be font, all at the bottom. Fondant. It's gonna be down on the bottom and font. Font.
Fondant is disgusting.
This has been Sunflower Slouchtras. Am I saying it right yet?
This has been Sunflower Slouchtras.
Oh. There's more, I think.
That's this one.
Yeah. Buy it. Or don't. I don't care. You may not have any money.
And I'm feral.
Yeah, quick. I'll go through it. You can freeze frame. Go. Well, if you got it, you got it, I guess.
Look, we're never going to scan this book. If you want, I know that you just made an ebook version, but
I did.
You did just make an ebook version, but we're never going to scan this. So if you want to like just not pay for a copy, here's their chance now, a whole book.
That's what I just did.
I do know that I want to give a shout out to our lovely patrons because without you, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you so much, Jen Harris, Heather Aranda, Ben Wolf, and Adam White. You all are amazing people, and we love you very much.
Thank you. So long and go for.
Oh, so long. Impeach Biden.
No, read it again.
I meet Ivan.
God
I
damn it.
meet thee, please.
Have you seen Kiwi walk? She walks like this. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, you see me? I'm in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm here now. That's how she walks everywhere. I've never seen her run, and when she does run, she just does like a hop.
No.
Like a, I'm here.